Today on the Platinum Patrol we have the RathFr Raws up against YD3K Alpha. Should be an interesting game. Raws does not like to play Protoss because he says they're too OP. He also thinks Zerg's too OP. So basically the only race you're allowed to play is the one he plays, otherwise you're taking an unfair advantage. Speaking of an unfair advantage though, it kind of looks like Raws is just gonna do a normal build. I heard this is his new anti-Protoss build, so we'll see what's so good about it. Right now he's just gonna scout around the map, make a barracks, which he doesn't have enough money for because he started his refinery, but that's just his build. It's a little slow on the barracks. Now his opponent, of course, making a gateway and a assimilator, very normal. Now going across the map, Raws sees there's a probe coming. At least I hope he saw that, otherwise he might have to get some glasses or something. Now, it looks like he's just going for 2 on gas, now to 3. Going to keep making SCVs. The probe's coming. It goes into Ross's main, it sees what's going on, it attacks the SCV. The SCV moves around. This is intense gameplay right here. Ross, on the other hand, is just hanging out with his worker, not doing anything. Because when you have 18 workers, only having one not do anything is not a big deal, right? It's not like you'd want it to be working. Now he does kill the probe, but he's still not doing anything with his worker. It's not like the natural's walled or anything. Oh, it's a proxy factory. What a surprise. Now this should be interesting what he does with it. He could make a widow mine. He could float it into the main because this area is dark. That'd be pretty funny. This is why we'll put pylons up here sometimes. Now, on the other side of the map, he is making a forward bunker, too, to protect his natural base. Probably a good decision. His opponent has a pylon over here. I guess it's probably going to be some kind of proxy Stargate. Now, Raws here's factory will finish before this Stargate. Yeah, this is Stargate. So Raws is pretty well set up, although he will not have very good defense against an Oracle. Although we all know it's going to be a proxy void race, right? It's going to be a pylon here, some shield batteries. You know you want to do it. Oh, he doesn't want to do it. Little bunker set up. Ross is getting his command center. Kind of looks off center, but it probably isn't. There's no pylon here yet. Now the factory has landed in his opponent's main. He just floats it in there. The opponent doesn't see a flying building because that would take eyesight. And the Protoss doesn't need eyesight because they're the ones with the cloaked units, right? The DTs and the observers. Now, here's the proxy coming out. Shield battery's going to be here, but first, this Widow Mine's going to come in. Let's look at the response. What does he do? He surrounds the... This is the opposite of what you want to do. This is the worst possible choice. And Ross won the game. We go back for a second, though. Now, here we're going to check out what happened in slow motion. So, look. We'll go to the view of our alpha here. Take a look. He doesn't know about the factory, right? He's just doing his proxy build. He's just doing the proxy build because that's how he wins, right? So we're gonna unpause for a second here. Let's look at his vision. He's looking at his base when it arrives. So he starts a shield battery. First of all, the shield battery is not going to finish in time to do anything. Second of all, a shield battery restores shields, doesn't give you a barrier or anything, so it wouldn't actually do anything to stop this Widow Mine, even if it were to finish. Now, if we take a look at his response, he realizes that. Cancels the shield battery. Surrounds the Widow Mine. Maybe he's hoping that Raws won't notice the probes are around it. Maybe he thinks it's being move commanded. But if it were to burrow, it'd be pretty bad, right? So he's going to see that. Raws immediately starts burrowing it. At this point, the normal player would see the Widow Mine burrowing and move their probes away and leave one, right? Because it takes 20 seconds or so in between each shot. He only gets one shot. So if he only kills one of your probes and you're proxy void raying them, your proxy void ray will probably kill them. You can always just bring it back, right? Because there's going to be no armory here, so you can see them after they shoot. Even your probes can come back and kill it. Or what you could do, listen, you could just put all of your units next to it. That way when it shoots, you can make sure it kills all your stuff, because that's clearly the best outcome. So he almost finished it off. Maybe he thought he could just kill it. Unfortunately, he can't, and I'm not really sure it's worth the risk, because you can just lose one probe. Losing one probe's not the end of the world. You can just lose one probe and then come back and kill it. But instead, we're gonna see how many probes we lose here. Of course, units lost 16, and yeah, that's really impressive. Now the next question is, does he GG, and how many seconds do we have before he leaves the game after watching this? Not quite yet. There it is. So 1 second. He waits 1 second and does not GG. What a good player. No GG. Very impressive. We went back in time a little bit to check this out. This is the moment of anticipation just before the Widowmine shot blows everything up. I'd like to take a minute to go over some conversation that was said about this game, what happened after the game. You know, the chat people always say. So we take a look at what our friend Alpha here says. He whispers to Raws after the game, right, that, I'll censor a little bit, stuff like this is ruining the game. There's too much cheese, it's impossible to scout it all. Alright, so we take a look at what our friend here, Alpha, has scouted, right? He went right up here, built a pylon. He didn't enter his opponent's base other than the first probe. All he saw was his barracks. Now, I'm not sure how much you can argue that you can't scout when he's just going for an all-in with the proxy void rays, right? Like, he could have scouted. He could have kept the probe alive, maybe sent a second probe in. The barracks wasn't even done when his scout left, right? He could have had it hang around a bit longer, saw that there was no factory here. Like, this is not a... he could have scouted if he wanted to. The other thing is, usually you build something here so you see like Reapers jump up or something, right? You can see when stuff flies in. So let's see what else they say. Raws responds, "Okay, Proxy Void Ray Man, I will say that is a fair counter argument. The opponent complains about cheese while also cheesing themselves. This is like a politician. They complain about something and they get elected and now it's good. Or they complain about their opponents being corrupt while being paid to be corrupt, right? It's pretty normal." So we got the counter, and then Alpha says he's forced to cheese because of the other cheese. This is good. I like this. So this is like saying, you know, there's people out there with guns who might shoot people, so you get a gun and shoot somebody first. I like it. This is a great argument. What else does he have? Oh, they need to make way longer maps, and the Zerg hatch rate has to be 350 with no more larva queuing. So his reasoning for why he lost this game in cheese is because Zerg hatcheries cost too little, they can queue their larvas. In a game where he's Terran, or he's Protoss and his opponent's Terran. So he's either making a completely unrelated argument, which is kind of funny, or he's just whining about balance to someone he thinks might agree because they're not a Zerg. Interesting. This sounds like someone who posts on the forums a lot. And what else we have? Oh, that'll make the game actually good, and we need a 300 supply cap. Honestly, I have no idea where that one came from. But, and then Raws also agrees that Zerg's OP, not sure about the other things. Yeah, I'm not sure about the other things either. Classic commentary right here. You gotta whisper the person who beat you, saying they didn't deserve to beat you, and you gotta make sure they know. Because they don't know they didn't deserve to win, so you have to tell them that you deserve to win. That way they agree with you, because that's how stuff works, right? Anyway, Raws won this game. I guess this is his new anti-Protoss build. Oh, he does have an armory. Oh, okay. So what I said earlier is wrong. He does have an armory, so this thing would be invisible. Maybe he saw that it was invisible after a shot, and that's when he quit, but I'm not seeing it because I don't think his brain works fast enough for that. Well, GG.